Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody is doing great. Well, in my world, I am wrapping up another semester, which is always bittersweet for me because a full semester is about 16 weeks and there's so much I love about my job, but it's like right when I get to know my students so well, then they're off and run into another set of classes, and then I get excited because I get a whole new set of students, and then the end of the semester brings on a lot of grading and finalizing grades, but then it also brings about like 6 weeks off. So there's there's a lot of pros and a lot of cons to what I do, but at the end of the day, I hope whatever's going on in your world and your space is going well and you see more pros than you see cons, because I really truly do see more pros than I see cons. So one of the things that one of the things I am very driven on is living in purpose. Yet again, that is why I have this channel. This is why my mentoring group is called Fit for Your Purpose. I stand by the fact that I believe that every person has a purpose. What that purpose looks completely different. But I think a lot of times that's why many people are in a space of not being satisfied, because somehow, some way they've missed the purpose in their life. It's not just going to appear out of the blue. You got to put in some work and some effort to uncover it and to dig out what your specific purpose is. But it's going to be unique and it's going to be specific very much to you. So I have the privilege of, when I have students, they are figuring out life and they want to figure out what they're going to major in, and they're going to figure out jobs and all of that stuff. And then many graduate and they go on to grad school, or they start working, or they're just trying to figure it out. And I also run across full-grown adults who are maybe in a space where they're not satisfied with this part of their life, but they're just trying to figure out, this other thing. And so the consistency I see is not seeing it. I'm in that space. I'm living in that space kind of right now. And y'all know I like to use myself as an example. I have a very clear plan of, let me back up. I know very clearly what my overall purpose is. It's to teach, it's to speak, it's to mentor, it's to inspire, to encourage, anything within that realm. I'm good at it. I always say that with confidence, not arrogance, but I know I'm living in my purpose. Nothing about that feels like work. I get energized by it. I love it. I seek it out. And so now how the specifics are going to play out, that I don't know all the way, but I have a very clear plan and several short-term goals and long-term goals of how to get to this place through, having my own business and teaching. So I know my overall purpose. I just don't know the specifics and how I'm going to get to the next level, right? But I know that I have to keep working at it even when I don't see it. So this video is entitled When You Don't See It. And I hope I can give you some practical tools on what to do when you don't see it, because really none of us really know how we're going to end up in, a certain place or when we're going to get there. My daughter, she plans on majoring in film in college in just 2 years. Bittersweet. And I know anything within the creative realm of life, acting, directing, editing, just being a creative person, that is her. That is how God made her. I see it. I've seen it since she was little. So I know that is her purpose. I just don't know the specifics, right? And we have goals and we have plans to get to college and all of those sorts of things, but we just don't know how we're going to get from A to B to C to D, right? Same thing happens, I'm sure, for many of us, right? So I'm going to give you 3 practical tools on what to do when you don't see it, right? Because so often I don't see it. And what happens a lot of times when you don't see it, you grow frustrated, right? You get a little bit nervous, right? And the fear can kick in. And that fear is the thing that oftentimes kicks people off the path of living out their full purpose. So when those moments happen, when you don't see it, you need to act. Anyway, and y'all know I love a good acronym, right? So ACT is the acronym that we're going to use when you need some encouragement on how to keep moving when you don't see it. It could be you don't see how you're going to end up in a good relationship or with that person. It could be you don't see how you're going to get that job. It could be moving to another state or another city. It could be anything, right? How you're going to develop more friendships. When you don't see it, you still have to act. The ACT is an acronym and each letter stands for something. So here's what you do. First of all, you have to allow yourself grace, okay? I'm a single mom. I am busy nonstop from the moment my eyes open until the time I lay down and I go to sleep, and it never ends, right? It can be challenging at times, but my daughter is the greatest, most important blessing in my life, right? And I would not trade it for anything. I'm grateful she's with me, and I'm grateful that we have the bond that we do. But mom gets tired sometimes, right? And sometimes, Jaden comes to me and she's like, "Can I have the?" Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm off duty tonight, so you can eat a cupcake for dinner. I don't care. That doesn't happen often. But the point being, I had to learn to let some things go. Not the important things, right? But I had to allow myself some grace to say, "Favor, Professor Campbell, Mom, you're not always going to get it right all the time. You're not always going to feel like doing it. You're not always going to be able to do what you did once before in life. And that is 100% okay. You don't want weeks on end to go by where life is like that, but you have to allow yourself some grace. If today is just a day where it ain't it, we've all had those days, guess what? That is 100% okay. So allow yourself some grace in whatever realm it is in, okay? The second thing, when you're acting, you need to create. Just like I said, you can't allow a lot of time to go by where you're not doing the things you're supposed to do. That steps into this realm of creating. You should be doing something. I can't give you a hard timeline because it depends on what you're doing, where you are creating the space that you want to eventually get to. So for me, I have a business, and, I had to get my LLC, and I had to get certifications done, and, all in the midst of teaching full time and, single mom in it and doing all the things that life often presents, but I still had to carve out time, write a second book. I'm starting that process. And so I have to create those moments, whether I feel like it or not. And that's the hard part, right? Because a lot of times we lean on our feelings and we lean on how we're doing in the moment. It's okay. Allow yourself that grace. But after a few days, there should be something happening in your life where you create something that's going to get you to the next place in your life. And then the last part, T, trust the process. I don't know which one of these is hardest. I would say they all can be challenging depending on the time of day and the week that you're having, but trusting the process, that's tough, right? Because it goes hand in hand with not seeing it. When you don't see something, it's hard to know whether or not it's going to come to fruition, or if you're even on the right track, but you have to trust the process. You have to look back at what you've already done. I had to look back and say, okay, I've written and I've published my first book. I have, gotten these teaching awards. I had to stop and think about all the things that I have done in order to get me to the point that I'm at. Trusting the process sometimes means you have to look back in order for yourself to be able to look forward. So I hope that helps somebody today. So we are going to act when we don't see, right? It's kind of counterintuitive, but hopefully it helps you remember that you got this, whatever your purpose is, whatever you're trying to figure out in life, there should be something every day that helps you to get to that goal, and eventually you will see it come to fruition. I hope that helps somebody. I hope you have a wonderful week or weekend, and I'll see you on the next video.